Hi there, this is Ankush Anand again, and today I want to welcome you to the first module of the internship program. In this module, our topic is understanding the web technology. And before we start today's lesson, I'm going to talk about two of the questions that you may have in your mind. First question is why you actually are studying web technology, and second, what is web technology? So let's talk about web technology first. So basically web technology is a technology, in simple words, which is behind web, right? This is how things are working on web, and this is the technology that we use to like do all the stuff on internet and all of that. And why you need to learn this, that's a really important thing, because we are going to build websites that are going to be like opened and also served through internet and through the technology on the web, and there can be a lot of technical errors as well as there can be other bugs and issues that you may face, which also if you want to solve you need to ask a technical person a lot of times. So instead of hiring someone or asking someone, you can just do that yourself by just having a little bit extra knowledge about things. So that's why you should learn web technology. And also there is one more reason that is why I'm like adding this thing here. So because we are going to do stuff in this web technology, we are going to like set up a lot of things that are related to this technology. So I want to also make sure that you know what you are doing, because in a lot of tutorial people will just explain you about like how to connect a domain with hosting, or how to do this and that, but they will not give you the practical explanation of why you are doing it and how it's happening and being used. So that's my goal, to make you aware about how things work and why you should learn this. So now it's time for us to go to the lesson, and this is the module 1, understanding the web technology. And here we are going to start with how does internet works. So before we start, let's talk about what is internet. And whenever I think about internet, the first thing that comes into my mind is actually this thing, which is connectivity. Internet is connecting people from all around the world. People are sharing their ideas, their information, their knowledge with other people, and we are consuming a lot of content, we are watching and also sharing a lot of things with other people using internet, and nowadays we are so used to it, right? So basically it is connecting people. That's uh, that's what we feel, but actually it's connecting two or more computers. So that's what internet is, connecting two or more computers. And how we can do that? We can just do that by connecting computers in any way. It can be wired or wireless, and you can call it a network where one or more two or more computers are connecting. So here what we did was we connected computers, and we simplified things in such a way that it is good for our we are able to set up the infrastructure properly. So we can have done something like this, like all computers are connected to all computers here as well, but we did create a technology where we used a modem. It's just a, you can say, एक चौराहा है ये, जहाँ पे like all the computers are connected here. So we are using this modem to act as a common place for all the computers, where we can communicate with computer D to computer C using this modem. So it's not doing anything apart from just connecting computers with each other here. So here this is a network of a few computers. What we had to do, we will have like another network, and here another network. We also connected the networks together, and this way like we kept on doing, and this becomes a network of network, which is what internet is called, network of networks. So here now let's talk about how things work on the ground. So for example, you have a computer here and there is another computer in Delhi. I have a computer in Kullu, and there is another computer in Delhi. how I'm gonna connect to that computer. So basically I can have like a direct wire that can go directly from my home, my office, to that computer to Delhi. So that can be one way, and the other way was to just use the current infrastructure. So what we had already was telephone infrastructure. So what we did was just use the telephone infrastructure initially. We used the phone line where we used to like call each other, and in that call the audio of one person was like being sent to other person through all that infrastructure, and on the other way as well. So instead of sending the audio, what we did was we found a way to send the information from the computers to another computers using the same infrastructure, and the modem here plays the role of converter. It will just convert the language of computer into the language of the infrastructure. So basically, like here we will have digital signal, which means like uh, the binary language which computer understands, and here it's being transferred into analog signal, which is you can say mm, another language, another kind of signal, which is analog signal. So you can learn about it more later, but it's not really important for now. So the basic idea is that the modem will just convert any type of signal into digital signal, and again here on the other side as well this will happen. So here in the between there can be any type of infrastructure that we can use. So here are all the infrastructures that we had used, and also there can be more, but for now these are the list of some infrastructures connection types that we used. So initially we used to use the telephone line where it was something similar to making a call to somebody else. So you can just dial up a number. For example, you will just call a number, a predefined number. If you call that number, your internet will be on, and then that call will be used to transfer your data to one place to another place, and connect you to the internet basically. So another one was digital subscriber line where there was no need to do this thing anymore, and you can just directly connect to the internet by plugging that telephone wire into your computer. Again, then cable TV was already there. We all was watching TV. So what we did was again here we used the cable TV infrastructure in the same way. We just created a modem that can convert the signals into digital signals, and on the both sides. So this is how things worked, and satellite internet connection in the same way, broadband, and latest one is optical fiber. Optical fiber is the fastest one because here we use light rays to transfer data. Optical fiber basically is a glass, you can say glass thread. It is a thread that is made of fiber, that is made of glass, where your data is being transferred into using the light in the glass. So here in the same way here as well, the modem and the router will be able to convert that signal into digital signal. So this is the basic idea. I'm sure that there can be a lot of mistakes in that, but for your understanding this is going to be enough. Okay, you don't have to think much more than this. So now let's talk about internet a little bit more. Internet is just bunch of computers that are spread all over the world, and which can communicate with each other, which can send data and receive data, and something like that. And here it's not just like any like there are some rules that we have to follow. There are some protocols that we have to follow, with predefined rules that every computer, every country is following, so that we can maintain a uniform internet connectivity, you can say communication. Otherwise, like I will send something in another format, other people will receive in and will not be able to read it. So we created standard protocols for every communication that we are doing on internet, because you can be doing a lot of things, right? You can be just browsing files, or you can just be trying to visit a website, or you can be also trying to send data, or a lot of other things as well. So here we have to decide the rules as well as protocols for all those things. So that's what we did, and that's how internet works. And as I told you earlier, internet is network of networks, where we are connecting all the a lot of networks all over the world. So now, because there are millions of computers all around the world and your phone is one of them, only there are million of phones in the world. So if we try to find a unique computer in all over the world, we need some unique identification number. So here we created IP address to uniquely identify a computer, and this is how a IP address look like. So for example, right now you want to open the website that was created by Google for search as a search engine, that is google.com. So basically here what is happening is that we made to make this IP address thing easy, we created domain names, that is google.com. So google.com is a domain name where it is linked with the IP address. Okay, so whenever you are opening google.com, something like this is happening. Okay, your browser is trying to connect with the google.com using this DNS, domain name server. So DNS is another service which helps your browser to find out that this is a domain name and this is pointed to this IP address. Means whenever someone try to access foobar.com, they where they should go, which IP address they should go. This is the only work that DNS server do, apart from some others as well in other like communication like email and other verification and stuff. So there can be a little bit more things about it which we will learn later, but the most important one is this one. Like it will just tell browser what to do with this request, what to do with this domain. So here it will tell that yeah, you have to use this IP address to access the website. Okay, so the domain, like the browser will then request the IP address, and that will be the request that goes to the web server, and here the web server will send the files. So here is how things work. We go from the browser to DNS server seeking the IP address for the website domain name, and then we go back and to the browser with the IP address, and then browser will send the request to the web server, that is like the computer. This is also computer. So here this web server is acting as a computer which is serving the files. So you can say that this is another computer which have a unique IP address, something like that. Okay, so for now let's go to the next slide, because I think this is something that I should have explained you earlier. So internet is all about computers, right? As I told you, like earlier I was only talking about computers are being connected. So here internet is all about computers, but there can be two sides, there are two sides of the two sides in the internet. One is the client side and another one is server side. Basically these are both computers. So whenever you listen server, it's not anything but a computer only. And here also that's what I was talking about. This is also a computer where the DNS server will provide the unique IP, and then we will try to access that unique computer, the files of or whatever we are requesting. We will be able to request that and access that. So here we have client side computer, which is a visitor side, which is the user side, where a user is trying to access or send request to the website or the internet, okay, through some browser or other application. So the application can be anything. It can be a browser, or maybe like they have their own application, but basically this is the client side where we are trying to access the thing. And here is the server side where we are trying to like there are computers and CPU that are being maintained 24 hours, and they are on also 24 hours, they are turned on and being cooled or like being maintained as well. There are multiple backups of those computers so that all the files and resources are safe. So these are well maintained computers that are called servers, and their role is to actually process, communicate, as well as provide the information that the client side is seeking. So this is the server side, and normally both are the computers only. Okay, So here this client and server side, this is the core of internet. यही इंटरनेट की आत्मा है. And this is how it works. Client sends the request and server process such request and send back the response. So this is how our internet works. Okay, now this is the authority worldwide web, W3C you can say this. So this is the authority that maintains the international standards. This is the authority that creates those rules and regulations, those protocols. And they have like full-time staff working on developing best standards for the web. So here there are some protocols that I want to explain, which are for like which will be used in the website development as well as a lot of things here. So basically here are some of them, which is HTTP, TCP, SMTP, POP, FTP, SSL. We will learn about them in detail now. HTTP is basically hypertext transfer protocol, where hypertext is actually just text with links, where we have some text which have hyperlinks, which is linked to another text. Basically it means a link in simple words. Okay, and HTTP is used for, this is the protocol for the web pages. So whenever you are trying to access a website, you will be using HTTP, and that is the reason we use HTTP here. Okay, if whenever you are trying to access a website, you will always have HTTP here. You sometimes you may not see it, like for example, if I open any website, maybe if I open YouTube, sometimes you will not see it here. It can be just something like this, but still you will have that HTTP in there. So this is the protocol that we use, the rule that we use to access the web server. Whenever you are trying to access website, you will have HTTP, and nowadays we have HTTPS as well. So that is a secured version of secured and encrypted version of like HTTP protocol. So this will load the website in the same way, but with the encryption, and it will authenticate the web server through SSL certificates. What is SSL? We are soon going to learn. I think you already have an idea about SSL, but we are going to just explore that as well. So HTTP was a rule, like it was a rule that we use to open all the websites and web applications. So whenever you are trying to access websites, this will be the protocol. Then we have TCP. Basically TCP means transmission control protocol, where this deals with connecting two devices. So imagine like you are trying to send a movie of 1 GB. So what TCP will do, it will just break all those break that movie into tiny little packets. It will just instead of sending that movie all over like the world in one packet, it will just break that movie into small pieces, so that like file can be sent to another person. And also that if like any part of the movie is not working, or like any part of movie is not transfer properly, we can actually only send that part only, and the movie will not get, like the jo file hai, that will not get corrupted easily. So this helps to like send large amount of files, and again when they arrive at the destination, check again if files is working, and if there is something needed, the TCP will again ask for the file that is not working, or that is not that is corrupted or something. So this helps to like transfer data from one computer to another computer, maybe client to server side or server to client side. So this is the transmission control protocol. And whenever we whenever the file is received, proper like delivery message or like acknowledgement is sent, that if it's sent or not, and if there are errors, that is also like acknowledged here. So apart from TCP, there is something called IP, and IP and TCP works together. So here what happen is this internet protocol, as I told you earlier as well, this is IP address. So whenever we are creating a pack, whenever the TCP is creating the pack, like in the TCP layer, we have all these packets, but we don't know where to send them. So in all these packets there will be like addresses of the packets, IP addresses of the source and destination. So for example, you are sending letters, okay, so in the letter you will write whom to send and who is sending the information. So in the same way, IP will be the address part and the TCP will be the mail service. So this is how they work together, and when the file arrives at the destination, the IP will actually remove the IP addresses, and then the transmission is successful. So this is how data is sent. File transfer protocol is something different, where we are just trying to download and upload the files. Okay, here the files or like data is being transferred from one place to another place, but here it's being downloaded. There is a little bit difference, because here you can actually you are only like trying to download and upload, but here data is being transferred. So transfer can be anything. For example, if I am opening any website, for example, let's open ankushanand.com. So if I am opening ankushanand.com, here also some data is being transferred. So here TCP and IP may be used, but in case of FTP, it's something different, because here we are dealing with the file uploads and downloads. Okay, HTTP transfer viewable content, and FTP transfer FTP transfer जो है, that will transfer data and programs, and this can also be used to upload web pages to web server. So if you created a website in your local like computer, you can transfer that website to the live computer using FTP, and there can be like anonymous as well as protected login whenever needed. So apart from this, there is something called SMTP, which is protocol for email. Whenever we are talking okay, sorry, I think I need to make it full screen. I think don't see the option. Okay, yeah. So here SMTP is related to the mail, where this will help you to like transfer the email basically from one place to another place, which is simple mail transfer protocol. So we have ISP, internet service provider. So this is nothing, this is not a protocol, but this is a internet service provider. So these are the companies and corporations that own the infrastructure, or they have that license to use that infrastructure. So mostly the big authorities will create the infrastructure, and these ISPs will take that infrastructure on lease. So here basically companies and corporations that provide people with the access to the internet. So probably you are paying Geo, or you are paying Airtel or any other provider for internet. So these are internet service provider. So they are responsible for establishing the local, regional, national and international internet facility, where your data can be transferred and you can like access the internet. Also they are responsible for transferring data with other internet service provider and other internet servers. So like one, if you are using Geo will not only allow you to use the infrastructure of Geo, it will also collaborate with other internet service providers and to provide the data that is stored or like being managed by the other ISP, something like that. So if you are not able to understand any part of this, I have added some reference links where I got some of the content and some of the references here. So you can just click on the links and go for more details. Also you can always ask me and my team about anything. We will soon be open, you will also have the access to the forum, so you can also ask there. So that was all in this class. and I hope you got to learn something today. And if you have any question as earlier, you can always ask. So thank you for joining this class, and now goodbye.